What is Sandwich but a seemingly desolate hamlet out in the farms of north central Illinois? For most schools, football is king, but not necessarily so for Sandwich. Sandwich is known best for its wrestling, which is what makes this run so special, so unique. This is the best of Sandwich football. The Indians found ways to grind it out against the elite powerhouses and the perennial super teams of Illinois football. This is the story of the 2010 to 2014 Sandwich Indians. The first question that came to our minds when we were looking back was, what brought about this level of success? We asked former players and former coaches to shed some light on what they thought.
2010, we started a magnificent run that few schools have. In fact, 7 of the last 10 years, I believe, I may be wrong, but 7 of the last 10 years, we made the playoffs, and that's something special there. So, in 2010, making the semifinals, in 2011, making the quarterfinals, and then making the playoffs the next 2 years, after that, conference champs after that. That was a very special run. But it wasn't like, and people see that, oh my God, the last 4 years have been amazing. Well, again, the 11 years prior to that is when it was all built on the backs of the hard work of coaches that we've had there. Not necessarily me, I was part of it, but there was hard coaches that have been there, and actually some of the players.
Success is not something that can just be built overnight. It's built through years, built on the backs of the players who came before. This is the look into when this success started and how long it took to climax on these very, very successful teams.
I want to say it was 2008. We went into the playoffs again, and that was the first team that, after the first round loss, was upset. Mm-hmm. That was the first team that was really, really upset about losing. Mm-hmm. The next day, the whole junior class was in the weight room. The whole junior class was there all the time. That's when you could really say, yep, this is going to happen. Yeah. These kids get it.
In football, it's not always just about the X's and the O's. We were very curious to see who those players were that brought it every single day at practice and who brought it every single day when the games showed up.
The 2010 team had quite a bit of leadership. The guys I looked up to most were Wegner and Tyler Crane. He was just a strong dude and always was aggressive. On the 2011 team, there was a whole bunch of leadership again. All the same guys who were right behind them. All the backup dudes filled the leadership positions for the next year, and they were all just the same way, really intense, kind of crazy, a little crazy. But guys like Jeremy Anderson and Spencer Carlson.
Being an offensive line coach, I can think of many great offensive linemen that I would call special and such. But I know with our wing T offense, we orient around the run, so I know many teams would have to game plan around many of our running backs as well. So, and I'm not going to quote on the years they were with us, but it's the Austin Brunigs who Austin came in as a fullback for us, and then actually went to a halfback his junior and senior year, and went on to be an All-American at North Central College. We've got Seth McDonald, who was an All-State fullback and linebacker for us. Then he went on to Eastern Illinois University to play. Then we've got players that we had so many. Cody Randa, he's now at St. Francis University. And we've had Cody Davis, who went on to Eureka College to play. There's just a list that goes on and on and on.
In the 2011 season, we had Anderson and Fiedler were our two ends, and they were animals.
The best game isn't always the one that you win. Sometimes it's just the one that you played the best and that you left everything out on the field. We were curious to see what games those were and into which was the best game that Sandwich played during this run.
Had to have been Coles City my junior year. They were an 8-1 team, and we were their one loss. And we were just a 6-3 team, I think, right? Or is it 5-4? We were 6-3. Okay. But oh my gosh, that was a really good game.
Well, I wasn't. I don't remember much of the semifinal run, but the quarterfinals, the first playoff game we had was against Geneseo, right? Second. All right. Well, we it was a close game, right? And we barely won because our kicker hit one off the goalpost and scored the winning field goal. So that was probably one of the best games.
The playoff game that we had in 2008 was against a loaded Coal City team. That they ended up, that team went to the semifinals and ended up losing to a loaded Addison Driscoll team. But they took Addison Driscoll for everything they could handle. Well, in the first round, that we played them. And we lost that game 6-0.
I mean, and you may have other people agree with me. They may disagree. I know many people say that the game in 2010, when round 2, when we played Geneseo, we beat Geneseo, and that a lot of people, that was a great game, and a lot of people still talk about that game with me 7 years later. I mean, it was a great game, highly touted team, big program coming into Little Old Sandwich. We doing what we need to do to beat them. That was fantastic. A lot of drama, a lot of everything. But one game that popped in my head first thing was in 2011, our loss to Stillman Valley. Now, Stillman Valley is a powerhouse program, 3A school, or 3A, 4A school, powerhouse program, playoffs year in, year out, powerful double wing offense. And again, that's where the Jims and Joes get you. We had on our defense, we had on Evan not only a great running game, but also a great defense. Our defense played outstanding that game, and we did what we needed to do to stop them, and they knew it, but they just had a 6'4", 6'5" fullback that by just falling forward they did 3 yards, and we knew that, and they did that, and it was blow for blow for blow on when we're on offense to when they're on offense. It was a magnificent game.
Players can't just do it on their own, though. They need support from the community and from their family members. We were curious to see how the community truly embraced this run.
Oh, I couldn't ask more. I remember, I don't do Facebook or follow Facebook, but my wife does, and I remember she would, during these playoff runs, she'd go through and take pictures of like the community and the stores that would have signs up. I mean, I went to Rova High School. Rova High School's a 1A school. Again, we averaged 7 wins a year in high school. That's the program I was. It's one of those small hot town football in Western Illinois that the whole town shuts down to go to the football game. This is where the farmers would fight over which football player is going to bale hay for them the next year so they can brag about it. That's where I came from. So, and that's the type of feel. All the towns got even on our week 3 would have "Go Rova Tigers" painted on the businesses. I mean, that's not homecoming. That was every season. That feel came to Sandwich, and that was great to see. You'd see cars with the windows painted. You'd see the businesses with their marquees, "Go Indians," beat whoever, Cardinals, beat Maple Leafs, beat whoever.
Pretty much all the community in the school is really behind our team being very good. And so it was always really excellent support.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could tell, like I said, when I was younger, you have, even when I was in 8th grade, you could see how the community was starting to react and how, what was happening. And then when they went to the semifinals, then it was like, we were taking bleachers with us to away games. Or other teams were bringing bleachers, and then we had, it was insane. It was just packed, and that was really fun to see from the community especially. And then around school, it became something everyone wanted to do. Everyone wanted to be a football player.
That's the way it was. Friday night, our stands were packed. The Green Hill was, that's the standing room only. Green Hill was, elbow to elbow. When it started to happen, and everybody noticed it started to happen, yeah, the support was there. It was awesome.
People always say that hindsight is 20/20. It's easy to look back and think of the things that you did during your time and what you would have done to change those things.
And not to say I didn't push hard, but I might have pushed just a little bit harder, and I wish, and there's a lot of people that probably think the same way. I run into people all the time, not saying that we look, reminisce a lot, but there's people that say, we could have been so much better if we would have realized how special it actually was.
Well, there's the simple little things like, boy, I wish we hadn't got all injured, all those injuries, but all that doesn't really mean anything. No, I think that if things had been different, it might not have been as special. I don't know that I'd have changed anything.
Sure, like we said earlier, the $1 million question: what do you know now than that you wish you knew then? And I think being young and cocky and actually really naive of the whole teaching and the whole coaching aspect, I really wish I really got into, which I did towards the end of my coaching of football, and I'm really into now with just love studying, is being the mental athlete. Because again, everybody lifts weights. Everybody watches what they eat. Everyone eats the right food to make them bigger, faster, and stronger. Everybody does that. Not everyone trains their mind for what they're doing, what they need to do. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about mind training that way. I'm talking about focusing on things. Yes, everyone wants to win. You don't focus on the winning. Early on in my career, again, like I said earlier in this interview, God, we didn't have a very successful season. We're only 3-6. That was a successful season. So I wish I had that mindset going in at the beginning, because then I think as a program we could have gotten better a lot earlier than we did if we had that mindset.
Dreams, pride, commitment, hard work. For a short while, a small North Central Illinois football program had what it takes to succeed. It's about the guys standing next to you, commitment to one another, commitment to greatness, about holding each other accountable, the hard work that goes into it, the pride that you know you are part of something special, unique, something so real. That's why they do it. At the end of the day, that's truly what makes it worthwhile, is getting to be able to share those dreams with people and compete for your teammates. The camaraderie and the brotherhood that it forms. That's why they do it.